So, Gerad, as I asked Neil this to start as well, just first game, things you know, things you don't know in an opener?
Yeah, it's these are fun, right? You have we're doing you concentrate on everything we've got to get better at from January till now as an offensive football team and certainly as a full football team and now when you start to get ready for an opponent that's changed defensive coordinators and of course it's game one, so you don't have anything that's right in front of you to see in year 2021. So you try to fill in the holes the best you can, but you also try to make sure you trust what we've worked on, how we've chosen to make ourselves better and make those plays work. We talked a lot to our guys about just making our plays work, and then as we make in-game adjustments, you go with it and try to put you guys in the best position possible to make plays and feel confident.
You look at them, 3-man, 4-man front, you're going to get multiple from them, and I guess Stewart hadn't called a defense in, 4 or 5 years? So you got a lot of research to do there.
Yeah, I mean, you can, if you're not careful, you can chase ghosts, right? But you're right. I mean, they're going to be multiple. What they did at the end of the year last year defensively certainly speaks to the staff that's there and to the head coach and what they've done. They did a great job and finished playing really good defense. So that certainly will be a part of what they do as well. But they're multiple. They play hard up front. They've got a great secondary that's talented and has some veterans and some young guys and gifted in the back end too. So they present issues and they play hard and they're fun to watch on defense. So I'm sure that some of that personality is going to show up through them, and then they'll pick up the new stuff with the new coordinator as well.
The good news is you only got 5 games of research last year.
That's right. Yeah. That's a reduced schedule for them, for us to go back and dig. So, or else we'd be here all night, right?
How long into the game does it take before you get a feel for what you think they're going to be doing that whole game?
Yeah, I hope real soon, right? It'll be, you know how it goes. It's, I think, in any coaching in the league we coach in and the opponents we play in and out of conference, you're always playing a little bit of a game of cat and mouse because, like I said, with who we play, we have a lot of respect for Maryland and our future opponents. You know, there's nothing that's going – everything will dry up at some point. Guys have great adjustments. They're good football coaches and have good players. So it's a little bit of a game of cat and mouse throughout an entire game. But certainly some things, as both sides, there's going to be some things that you know about who we are and who they are through your first 2 series and filling third downs out and red zone stuff. Just special situational football are things that you continue to make adjustments on and kind of feel as you go.
I guess you'd rather be the cat than the mouse.
Amen. Yeah, exactly.
Prepare for an opener. You kind of go into it saying, okay, this is what we do well. Let's work off that as opposed to what you think they're going to do.
Yeah, I think, we think as a staff that you certainly want to have a personality, right? If you don't have tendencies and a personality and a belief system knowing what we do well, then you probably don't do much well, right? So I do. I think there's me and Neil both believe, you have to go in and do what you do to a lot of degree because if you don't, your guys fail to build confidence on what what we have building blocks on. Through our installs from spring and summer and now, you hope your guys have a strong sense of confidence through the plays that we've chosen to really build our offense around.
So one of the things you do well is run the football because, first 2 years it was just a bit of a struggle at times with, not you weren't here for it. But anyways, do you think that part of the game is better for you guys now than even last year?
Yeah, I mean, we feel good about our guys. There's been a lot of work put in by our staff and our players, and we like our guys. We've made steps on every area of the field, and we believe in our players and our staff. We've got great camaraderie as a staff too, which all matter. We're around each other a bunch, player to coach, coach to player, and our guys have made steps. We certainly feel good about where we're at, and we're certainly not arrived. We've got a long way to go, and those practice habits got to remain and continue to sustain itself for a long time throughout a season. But we feel good with where we're at. There's certainly going to be things that are going to surprise us and we'll have to fix, but we like where we are, and we got to continue to get better each week.
Based off of what I've read from what they reported from their practices, I guess they like what they got in secondary. Have you seen enough of that on tape from last year? A lot of those guys are back.
Absolutely, yeah. It's prefaced it a little bit earlier. They do. They should feel good about it. They're good. They've done a good job in the back end. They're coached well. Got good instincts. They've got 4 DBs that play inside on the slots and outsides, kind of all over the place, and trade them out. They play the ball really well. They're aggressive. They're willing tacklers. They do a great job in coverage, being able to collision and get on you and match routes in their man coverage. They do a good job disguising things. They do a really good job. They should feel good about that position. I know it's something we've talked about. It's going to be a good challenge for our guys on the perimeter.
Hey, Jared, piggybacking off the run game for a second, people told us that he's a game-time decision. If that's true, then Justin Johnson might get thrust into some pretty important playing time there. So can you talk about him a little bit and what he's done to kind of prove himself to be ready for that moment this offseason?
Yeah, those guys they've all done a good job preparing. It'll be we'll see with Tony as it goes, and he's been preparing great. But Justin Johnson certainly has had to prepare as they all do, but he's had to prepare for the right things. And he's first off, like when you look at Justin as a young player, he prepares already like a vet. He's got a really serious approach about himself to the game and learning what to do. He's very, very far along as far as his assignments and those things, which is refreshing to see. He's a hard worker. Chad's done a great job with him. He's going to be a talented player. Of course, he's learning his way and as a pup, but he's put himself in a position to be ready to go. And I think that when you know what to do, certainly the speed of the game will change, and those things will be a surprise. But knowing what to do kind of takes away some of those anxieties and things.
So going into this bus ride, which is rather unusual for the WVU program, how does that differ with the conversation happening there versus a plane ride?
Yeah, I think as technology has changed, the bus will quiet down with iPads and movies and Netflix, I'm sure, right? But it's refreshing. Sometimes you need it's a good little ride over, right? A little over 3 hours. Our guys will be able to visit a little bit, which is invaluable. It's harder and harder, I think, even in locker rooms and travel and at home, even at our homes, it's harder and harder to get time to spend because there's so much going on. It's easy to get distracted with phones and all those things. So sometimes it's neat to be able to put a football team together and force them to be on a bus together and communicate and have some time together. So I think our guys are looking forward to it, but it is different. It's different than a flight. The routine's different. It may help us. We need a little something different to start it. So it'll be good to get on the road and then come back home.
You mentioned unknowns. When I'm looking here, they've got 2 guys on defense that have 10 or more career starts. But yet they've got some talented players. Is there any trepidation there? You don't really know enough about what you're going to see from some of these guys?
Yeah, I think that, you always want to go back and get great evals and know where your matchups are good or maybe not as favorable and those things. And I think that happens personally. I think, we've talked about as a staff, you're afraid of those things in every game one to some degree. But at this point, we feel really good about how we prepared, to be quite honest with you. And there's a really good because of so many of those guys returning and getting to play. There's a lot of them that have. You get a fair eval on those guys, just of them of us. So we feel good about that piece. But, until we kick it.
I'm guessing there's some awareness, too, through recruiting. You're familiar with some of these guys that are going to run out there, I'm guessing.
Absolutely, yeah. We're starting to cross paths a decent amount, so some of the names or a lot of the names are familiar and those things, so it helps.
Advantage is it to have an experienced quarterback like Gerad going into a first game and not knowing what he's going to
Yeah, I think we would all be lying if we didn't say that it's always good when you know who your quarterback's going to be at the start of a year. And for where the steps he's taken and where we're at as an offense because of him being a vet and have done this before and having some games under his belt as a starter certainly helps. It helps us, helps him, And the guys believe in him. We believe in him. He's done a great job in becoming who he needs to become as a leader and improving the spots he needs to improve upon. And he's shown that. And I think our guys obviously know that now too, and it's built confidence within our offense.
Gerad, he's talked a bunch about his improvement in physical and technical stuff, and it's quite a list of things that he was kind of intent on improving. Just as in your role as like the head of the offense, what do you think will be apparent as far as like an improvement for him that is a clear step up in the confidence results?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a testament too to Coach Brown and Coach Reagan because us as an offense, we do everything to evaluate full offense and then by position. I think just one of the best things we do in this program is tell the truth to our guys with loving them. You know, the truth isn't a bad thing if you love and have trust. And we do that in this program at a high level. And so to be able to tell him where he's at, where those shortcomings are, and to attack him, and that's what Jarrett Dagey did. You know, he just took that stuff and attacked him. And I think that, to my opinion, I believe that his pocket presence and pocket movement and having purpose within those during stressful times, being in, you know, that quote-unquote the eye of the storm a little bit, that's a hard moment to be in as a quarterback. And I believe, and we believe, that his biggest improvements have been to be present in those and be able to work the pocket better and take care of the football and make fast decisions. I think that would be the number one thing that would stick out to me.
How many receivers you plan to rotate?
Good question. As many as it takes.
Where is Prather right now? I mean, after he was able to go through an entire ball camp.
You know what? He's in a good spot. He's to be here in January helped him. So knowledge level again has taken a step to where not near as many. You know, I think we had him charted. You know, I don't want to say the number out loud. I'll be good to him. But in the spring, there's a lot of those which were to be expected. So those have went way down. So now it's just allowing him to learn the way and learn how to play in this game when it gets as fast as it will be. But he's going to be involved and be a factor in this, and him learning how to practice every day and prepare like a pro, as we talk about in that room, I think are going to help him keep taking steps to just gain a little bit more as we go throughout the year. But he's in a good place, and you'll see him, sure.
You have Jarrett coming off that game in the bowl game. How did you guys handle that in the offseason so it didn't weigh heavily on his mind and possibly put questions in his
Sure. Yeah. You know what? We're all human. You know what I mean? Anytime we don't play well as an offense or anything that I'm responsible for or anybody, it hurts. You know, and we live in a pretty cynical world at times, right? That it's much easier to throw stones instead of helping a guy grow. And to his credit, I mean, who would not? That hurt. You know, that hurt him. And he understood it, and he embraced the pain. We talked through it and let him grow. And for a guy like that in this day and age to be able to stand in front of a team and an offense and say, here's what I'm going to do to fix this, and be brave and courageous and work and just get lost in the work and not worry about the negativity of what you're, you know, referencing and back to that game, I think it's just a huge testament to who he is as a human being. And I know this, I'm proud as hell of him. You know, I think that, and again, in a world that it's been hard to do those things, he's done them. And is he going to make mistakes this year? Yes. You know what? I am too. You know, and he stood in the fire and really improved his game and who he is. And I just think that says a lot about who he is and how he'll be for us this year.